And he uploads! He's uploading again! Hi, I hope you guys are doing okay. Hope you're safe and having a good 2022 so far. I'm sorry for the insane immense lack of uploads since New Year's, focusing more on me and personal life stuff. I'm currently trying to get some channel and gaming stuff situated and secure as well, whilst planning for more stuff in the future. You'll all see soon enough. Backlog video, updates and all, hopefully sooner than later. But we got a Nintendo Direct. Nintendo confirmed that tomorrow, February 9th, 2022, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, a 40-minute Direct that will be focusing on games coming out the first half of 2022. And not only is this big, considering the 40-minute timestamp, but we already have a hefty amount of games confirmed coming at all for this year, as is Breath of the Wild 2, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Splatoon 3, and others. So we can already kind of pinpoint some solid guesses and predictions based on just the games we know are coming, not just a handful we don't know are coming or not as well. It's also nice to just know they're still keeping up with quote-unquote tradition. Almost every February this past decade, we've gotten a Direct, usually lining out what Nintendo has planned for that year. Last year was one of those years, and this year looks to be no different, but for as much as Nintendo will claim they'll primarily focus on games in this specific time frame, this near time period, they always throw in one or two game announcements for the farther future. Splatoon 3 was precisely that in the Direct we got last February, for example. So we'll probably get at least one out there announcement, or at least one game not coming out within the first half of 2022. But a Nintendo Direct's coming tomorrow, you know we gotta predict what they're gonna talk about. So, let's get some of the safer predictions out of the way, focus on the games we do know about for now. I guess I already touched up on this. I don't think it'll solely be first half of 2022 games. Again, they've always done this thing to where they'll say first or second half of X year, and they'll announce something outside that time frame. And I think Breath of the Wild 2 is one of those things. I think we're going to get another trailer for the game. I think we're finally going to get a proper title, but they won't go too heavy into it and save more marketing and reveals on that game for E3 this year. But we'll get another look at the game, more mechanics, more of the world, and they'll slate this game to come out this holiday season. I don't know if it'll actually come out this holiday. I think that'll depend on how far along the game looks based on what they show of, whether tomorrow or E3. But I think this is probably in the safer ballpark of predictions that most people probably have. I think we'll get more detail on Breath of the Wild 2, as well as a proper title and release window for the game. One I'm a lot more confident we'll get more details on is Splatoon 3. A literal year ago was when we got a February Direct, and a literal year ago was when we got our first look at Splatoon 3. This is a game I do think is one of those games that will come out within the first half of this year, particularly early summer, as Splatoon releases have seen thus far, not just alongside their own release schedule, but also in tandem with other first-party releases. Splatoon 3, I think, is a safer guarantee than Breath of the Wild 2 is here, but more maps, maybe more story stuff. We only got one trailer for this game since the February 2021 Direct, but I think we're a lot closer to Nintendo giving us Splatoon 3 than I think some people anticipate. Triangle Strategy is also in that same camp, I feel. Square Enix RPG coming this year, that feels like another either mid to late spring release, if not early summer, and it does fit within the first half of this year, I would assume. Triangle Strategy getting shown off makes plenty of sense. Monster Hunter Rise's Sunbreak DLC as well. Same for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, that's confirmed for summer 2022. Assuming it's not for late summer, like August, that getting more details and it's showing off here for early summer could fit that same bill. This is one I can imagine being wrong, given that's slightly more up in the air in my opinion. It could go either way, but them showing off Sunbreak at all wouldn't surprise me either. And Advance Wars 1 and 2 Boot Camp, that was supposed to come out last December, but that got pushed back to spring 2022. So I think that's probably guaranteed to be shown off here, given all of that. Kirby and the Forgotten Land comes out in less than 2 months. I have not seen the most recent trailer. I kind of want to do a discussion video on that game, but I know a lot of people are loving what they've shown off so far, and because it's coming out very soon, it's a safe prediction to assume they'll put in some kind of reminder in this Direct to let people know, hey, it's coming out soon, and it's the one Kirby that's really going to push the series forward, so best prepare your wallets towards the end of March. As for the other games we know of that have yet to come out, Bayonetta 3, Mario + Rabbids, and even Metroid Prime 4, this should not come as a shock when I'm regarding Metroid. I don't think any of these will be shown off. All three of these games, I can visibly see them saved for later in the year. Bayonetta 3, we only recently got a proper trailer for. That's a game I feel like it'll thrive more off of the marketing during either E3 or fall, assuming it's still coming this year. That on its own is up in the air, but Bayonetta 3, I think they're saving. Mario plus Rabbids as well. It's been almost a year since we got our first looks at that game, but that's a game that strikes me as Ubisoft and Nintendo saving that one for the summer, like with Kingdom Battle, as well as based on the other titles coming out soon as well, between Kirby, Splatoon, Triangle Strategy, etc. And I do think we're due for some Metroid Prime 4 trailer or detail reveal at some point this year. It has been 3 years since they restarted development, but I think that's also going to be saved either later this fall or likely this E3. Between that and the immense momentum Metroid Dread's kicked up for the franchise, I do think Prime 4 is due for some kind of spotlight in the near future. I don't think that game's coming out at all this year, but some teaser trailer I would hope at the very least. But I do think we'll get Metroid Prime 1, that remaster. There have been some rumors of Metroid Prime 1 specifically getting a remake or remaster. I can't remember specifics. I want to say it was a remaster, but Metroid Prime 1 getting re-released in some way. I think that would be a solid hold me over for new and old Metroid fans during late spring or early summer. And as much as I prefer the whole Prime trilogy getting re-released in a remaster HD collection type thing, Nintendo only doing Prime 1 and not 2 and 3 sounds like something Nintendo would definitely still do, and I'm assuming that's a rumor that might hold merit. If it doesn't happen, it's whatever. If we get the whole trilogy, that's even better, but Nintendo just remastering Prime 1 would strike me as odd given it'd miss out on fully capitalizing on that Metroid momentum right now, but also not odd because it's one of those oddball things Nintendo would 100% do. Pokemon Legends Arceus or Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl getting DLC. I would imagine Legends Arceus would get more. I think that game could get DLC, but us knowing about that would depend more on the Pokemon Company and or Game Freak making an announcement of their own rather than in a Nintendo Direct. And finally, Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 are coming out the day after this Direct on Switch, unfortunately via cloud, but I do think that's more than enough for Nintendo to remind people, hey, Kingdom Hearts is coming out on Switch, in spite of how poor the reception and experiences people have had with the demo for the cloud versions of these games on Switch. Oh my god, it's been really rough. Y'all should see that. Oh, the game runs so bad on cloud. Just look at the demo. And people have not been liking that whatsoever. And that's about it as far as safe, more known predictions I could think of as of the making of this video, so here's the fun part, the more out there predictions. Less secure, but more out there and harder to pinpoint predictions of the Nintendo Direct. And the first slightly out there prediction is one I've made last year. We are due for a new DK game. It's been rumored we're getting a 3D game made by the developers behind Odyssey. There's also that just as probable chance it's another 2D game. But with the push for more open-ended 3D adventure games a la Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, and even Kirby, I'm willing to bet Donkey Kong's getting a 3D game next, and I do believe we're going to get our first look at that game, and it'll come out this year in the late summer / early fall. I think not only would that fit most of the rumors we got regarding that, and not only suit DK for how long we've gone without a new Donkey Kong game, one of Nintendo's biggest and active first-party IPs, but it's been something DK has needed for a while now. We are kind of due for another DK game. And something also up in the air, Mario Kart. Amidst a plethora of debates and discussions since last fall, and approaching the 8-year mark since 8 came out on Wii U, could we see Mario Kart 9 announced at all? Nintendo has no reason to make a new Mario Kart given 8 Deluxe's insane momentum since 2017, but one can make the exact same case for Splatoon 2, yet we're getting Splatoon 3 anyways, and that's only one example of the myriad of potential sequel potentially invalidating its predecessor coming out on the same system, yet it never does, Nintendo game or not, multiplayer or not, examples. Mario Kart's tough though, we've historically gotten one per system, but it's been so long since 8 was new, and for as many people that got into and see 8 Deluxe as that new Mario Kart, there's practically just as many millions that are craving for a new Mario Kart 2. It's just a matter of would Nintendo capitalize on both that demand, as well as Mario Kart's insane momentum and attach rate mid-console life, when there already is another Mario Kart on there, even with several examples of Nintendo going against norm or standard with some series and release windows. I don't know. Nintendo also has to have something Mario related for this Direct, I'd imagine. There's always some Mario thing every single Direct. Mario Kart would fit that bill. I'm still not sure though. And then there's that part of me that also wants ARMS 2, but that also depends on whether we get a new Mario Kart or not, since both have the same development studio and team. I feel like an ARMS sequel would make more sense than us getting a new Mario Kart on the same system, but we all know how much more lucrative Mario Kart would be compared to an ARMS sequel, so it's hard for me to really say. Either series I think would benefit more from an E3 reveal as well, at the very least. I'm going out on a limb against all the discussion and debates from last season and say we're not getting anything regarding a new Mario Kart this Direct. ARMS 2 has a better shot, I feel, both because it's more likely and an ARMS sequel makes as much sense as any other major Nintendo series getting a sequel. New ARMS, new characters, new story, expanding on the characters we already have within the world of ARMS, it coming out in the fall. And because I feel like that's something that would also, in tandem, piss off a lot of Nintendo fans if we got ARMS 2 instead of a new Mario Kart, yet I feel like Nintendo would still do it anyways because it makes more sense, you know? Another thing we are kind of due for is something Fire Emblem related. It's been a while since Three Houses. February is also usually a good month to where we get Fire Emblem announcements of some kind, and whether it's a remake, a new title, I do think we're going to get some Fire Emblem announcement here. I'm willing to bet more on the remake side. I've seen people discuss more of Path of Radiance and or Radiant Dawn getting the remake, which would be fitting, and a late spring/summer release window for that game would make a lot of sense too. We've gotten some rumblings of some big Xenoblade announcement, perhaps Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but I think that's likely to be an E3 thing to be announced, and coming out next year instead. It's been a hot minute since Xenoblade 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition also came out 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, excuse me. But I feel like Xenoblade 3 would be something big for Monolith, and the series both in impact and scope and vision. Xenoblade games, they're always these humongous games, these insanely vast, sprawling worlds and stories and such. Monolith's also a studio that tends to go very hard and very big on these massive games as well, to where I feel like they probably need a little bit more time to work on a new Xenoblade game to reveal anything now. They'd probably hold off later in the year, if not next year. I do think, however, one of the bigger predictions, we're gonna get the revival of some dormant franchise. Whether Star Fox, F-Zero, Kid Icarus, Punch-Out, Golden Sun, Mario Strikers, or Baseball, I think we're going to get some inactive IP come back, and people are going to go nuts over. If you had to make me pick one, I'd probably pick Punch-Out. It's been a while since both Luigi's Mansion 3 finished, and Nintendo's acquisition of Next Level games. And besides Luigi's Mansion, Next Level is known for their work on Mario Strikers and Punch-Out for the Wii. I'll say this too, if we get either Mario Strikers or Baseball, Lord knows I would not shut up about either one. But Punch-Out, I think, would fulfill both the niche it has as one of the more classic yet dormant Nintendo IPs, as well as being another one of those classic IPs that has not gotten a new game in over a decade. And we'll get this IP revival game during the fall, as my prediction. I'll say this as a bonus too, y'all will never hear me shut up if Kid Icarus somehow gets any sort of love this Direct. Uprising's 10th anniversary is in March. Who knows? I'm just saying, ooh, if Uprising got re-released, or if there was a sequel, Uprising remake, sequel, anything new for Kid Icarus, y'all would not hear the end of it from me. I would never shut up about it. Y'all would hate me if they announced that. This next prediction's probably out in semi-poor faith though. I think it's a prediction most people do want though. I hope Mario Party Superstars gets DLC. Super Mario Party didn't get DLC. It got online functionality 3 years after it launched, but it never got more boards or minigames and whatnot, yet it was prime and deserving to get DLC to make it an even better game, but it just never got it. For that reason, it's why I say it's in bad faith for Superstars to get it. I don't think it will, but Superstars format would allow for such easy revenue and extra content for the game. An old GameCube map remade, one new character like Pauline, Diddy Kong, Boo, or Dry Bones, etc., a dozen more remade minigames, all of these in one pack per season. That's such an easy and efficient idea for DLC for Mario Party Superstars. But again, the precedent superset makes me believe it's probably a waste of wishes to hope Superstars may do anything different. One curious thought, though, is whether or not we'll get a trailer regarding the Mario movie. Last September, Nintendo kind of just dropped the release window and the casting for the Mario movie on us out of nowhere in that September Direct, and we're more or less 10 months out from that movie coming to theaters. So we are kind of due for a trailer on that movie, and them dropping it here would be both semi out of the blue, but also fitting given all of this. I think they're going to wayside us with a trailer for the movie, animated. We'll see the actors and actresses talk and portray themselves as the Mario characters finally. We'll get a proper idea of how that movie is going to work and tell its story. And we're all, for better or worse, be there day one for that movie. Whether they drop a trailer for it here or not, a whole discussion's to be had regarding the Mario movie, but it's going to be a hell of a time for all of us, both when it comes out, but even when that first trailer just drops, and we have to wrap our heads around what that potential final image of the movie will be. Something weird, Nintendo Mass took down Gilva Sunner's videos, this Nintendo music channel that uploaded a lot of Nintendo soundtracks because Nintendo almost never gave us a means to listen to their soundtracks beyond buying their games. They mass took down a lot of those uploads. It's been a thing that's been happening for years on other channels, but they went insanely hard on Gilva Sunner last week. And in spite of that, I'm willing to bet money Nintendo's not going to create any service or method of us to listen to their games OSTs. Despite numerous companies and IP holders put out their soundtracks on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, monetize or for free, etc. Despite Nintendo could do the same or make it some weird Nintendo Switch Online incentive service thing, whatever, I don't think they're going to follow up and give us any alternative for that. It's effectively the same problem with Nintendo's approach to combating piracy, yet failing to deliver an adequate, fair, and satisfying service for the vast majority. I think it's going to be the same case with Nintendo Music, only they're not going to give us any service at all, and just pretend people like to drag their Switches around and listen to the Smash soundtrack from it like it's an easily portable MP3 player when it's not. And the final prediction I'm making is... The final prediction... Oh my god, what was it? I'm running a blank on what... Oh my god, what the... I'm running a blank on what it is. It was some big Mario thing, I'm pretty sure. Oh my god, what final prediction... I'm not sure what it was. What was it that crossed my mind? Oh well. I guess I won't predict it this time. Maybe it wasn't that big of a deal for me to forget about it. Gee. I sure hope it doesn't get announced during the Direct. And I remember what it was during the Direct. Man, that would sure stink, huh? I wonder what that was. But that's my predictions for tomorrow's Direct. Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, Splatoon 3 trailer, Kirby and the Forgotten Land reminder, Triangle Strategy, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, Advance Wars Reboot Camp, Kingdom Hearts Cloud versions, Metroid Prime 1, a new DK game, some Fire Emblem announcement, ARMS 2 rather than Mario Kart 9, a dormant IP revival of some sort, to which I'm narrowing it down to punch out a poor faith prediction of Mario Party Superstars getting DLC, a trailer for the Mario movie, probably a lot more third-party stuff that I'm completely running a blank on right now. No Mario plus Rabbids, no Bayonetta 3, no Metroid Prime 4, no Xenoblade, no Mario Kart 9, no Nintendo Music Service thing of any kind. And I'm predicting some kind of game. I don't think I'm going to predict this time. I don't want to predict it this time. I don't think I will. Let me know in the comments what you're hoping for and predicting for this Direct. Any of mine you agree or disagree with? Are you excited or nah? We've only 24 hours until then. So, best to be sure I'll have both reactions and a discussion on the event. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be safe, have a great day, and stay super.
Yo, hey, 妹妹，嘿，过来呀！共和大哈哈呀！拉面，嘿，来面，来个面，共和再见呀！哈哈，拉面，下手面。谢谢。